Today we will be adding the short chicken to the long chicken, extending the chicken's lifespan beyond the normal chicken rate.
We've got lots of problems in this town. Everybody's losing their minds. But I'm still here, and I'll be right next to the vending machine.
Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Cultist, back again with another logic video. Today we're covering the subject of collectible audio logs, and we're going to need variables for this. So I will be making a variable station. You don't really have to turn off all these, I just like doing it. Do turn off visibility and collidability though. And like I did earlier, you do want to lower the detail because this thing is not going to be visible. I like to reuse these little bricks because they work as good mounts for logic. Vars for variables. The three variables are going to be called, let's set this to minimum value of 0, maximum value of 1, and we're going to set it to tape 1 will be the first title. You want to set it to persist in dream, which means even if you leave the scene, this variable will persist. Tape 2. And tape 3. Gonna put them in this microchip called tapes. And we're going to need a little menu system for our puppet here. Call it menu. Put a controller sensor in here, set it to wireless remote control, take out a selector, and we're going to put this down just to simulate a menu. We aren't going to be covering items. This is just to simulate. We are going to be covering logs. Audio logs, that is. Going to put down a node and attach the B output to its power. And we're going to connect the down button to the forward next output arrow and the up button to move to previous output. And we're going to take out another selector, put the B output on the power of this little baby so that it only shows up when, you know, we're ready. And our pause button might as well be the touchpad. Don't forget to inform players that this is the pause button. For later, that would be useful. I also will want a action recorder set to keyframe mode that turns off the controls so that we can't move. Is the power on? Good. We'll just call this off. And on our controller sensor, we will want to be able to reset this whole business and quit out. So we'll have... we can actually use this over here. This is our usual interact system, where we use and connect the triangle button to it. You're probably familiar from our exploration game series. If not, check that out if you want to know how to make this. But it's our familiar system. And we're just going to call this quit. And we're going to connect circle to this. Delete everything except for the switch. And what this is going to do is reset all of the values. We're also going to put down a little action recorder and turn off the power on a remote controlled controller sensor, so that during this period we cannot input any other buttons. But that will reset to the default for this menu, and then next we're going to reset to the default on that one. If we play this real fast, it should be pretty, you know, seamless. There probably won't be a lot of problems. Quitting out will be nice and responsive. We're also going to want a sub-menu. X will be our activator for the sub-menu. Another thing we're going to do is put out a node, and you may be wondering why bother with this. Well, it's a simple fact that putting things through this node allows us to close off these inputs whenever we want, and that's actually quite useful. I will explain why later. But here is our second menu, which will be the logs menu. And we're going to type out another, copy another selector. Also, don't forget that there's the infinite selector system that we mentioned in another video, just in case these are insufficient for the amount of logs you might have. And now we're going to copy this out again and put it in here. Up arrow to the upper one, down arrow to the down one. So down will be forward, and up will be backward again. And we'll take out a text displayer, and we're going to have tape 1. And tape 2. You can make this look a lot better if you want like a really cool lounge with a tape recorder while you're listening to your logs or whatever. That can be done. But we're making this as basic as possible for the sake of, being, brevity and all that. Should be quite simple to actually, let's disconnect that, but we do want to use it later. We're going to use the border as a selection indicator, and we're going to increase the border width. Maybe move that down a little bit. I want to be neat about this, you know. Alright, so turn off the border for now. And we'll just have a handy keyframe. We'll turn them all on with one keyframe and then go down the list. Copy. Delete that animation. Copy. Delete this animation. Copy. And delete the two previous ones. Now that's all three. Done with mighty fast. And let's see how this works in practice. Oh, I forgot. We have to do the same thing with the selection up here. Also increase the border width so they're more noticeable. And I might just delete this wire and instead turn off the power and have the keyframe turn the power on. Alright, now we have access to the logs, all three tapes. Of course, we're going to want to turn off the previous input, because as you can see, we're still manipulating the previous system earlier. But it's mighty simple. All we have to do is put this action recorder right here, and just turn off this microchip that we prepared in advance. Simple as can be. Now we won't have any more of that pesky problem. And we're going to use X to play the tapes. We'll also want it so that you can't really get these tapes unless you actually, you know, unless they're unlocked. So we'll put them in here with this. So this keyframe is going to turn on the power of this one, of this node. I'll turn it off. Call this tape 3. And again, we're going to be using X. And we're going to want an input delay with X, and you may be wondering what exactly that is. Well, I'll explain. We might want to add another node. But basically the input delay is what's going to prevent X from playing too many times, shall we say. Because we don't want you to just, you know, press X and then immediately it presses X in the next menu. We're going to need a delay, so connect these here. And we'll call this X. Change the color a little bit too, just to help out with our brains. That should do pretty well. Now we're going to need a log to play. For that, we're going to use a counter. And a timeline. Set to sustain. We're going to put a keyframe on either end of the timeline. A text displayer. Now you may be wondering what we're up to with this, but it will all make sense in a little bit. I want some indicator. You could make a timer, but calculating the exact time would take a while, and I want to be as brief as possible, so we're doing it this way. Now, what is this exactly? All this is a method of measuring how long the log is. Since we're on the third tape, we're going to put it here. And we are going to have a little L. Oops. We had both things selected. Make sure you don't have both selected. That's kind of a bad thing. You'll be resetting your previous customizations. And we're going to turn off the background border and set the sort order to 3 so that it's on top of the other one. Set it to about here. And now we're going to take the keyframe and simply move it all the way over there. This may not be exactly straight up and down, but you can get it that way with enough, trial and error. And if you play through it, it's going to go from the very beginning to the very end with the exact amount of time allotted. It may have to be changed depending. We're also going to have it so that you shut off, once you're in here, you'll be shutting off this quit button because I want to make another quit. Delete the animation, of course, for the other quit. Maybe a bit confusing, but I want a secondary quit that can only be accessed in here. And it will reset the log. And, cancel that out. I'm also going to turn this off. Alright, so let's connect circle to this quit and see how it all plays out. Logs, tape 3 isn't available as of yet. Alright, the tape is playing. We can't move any of the other stuff. Tape is played to the end. Press circle. Oh, of course, you're going to want to remove... This is something I forgot to do a long time ago. Depossession. Currently connected to circle. Get rid of that. We're also going to turn on forced possession. It's just useful to have forced possession. listen to the very end. Press circle and cancel out. Oop, something doesn't seem to be going right. We're going to have to look into this. Yeah, just make sure to connect that to off. Now we can go to listening, and you may be wondering why tape 3 is showing up the way it does. That's because tape 3 is technically supposed to have a variable connected to it, which we might as well do now. We're going to do the same with the other ones. Connect variable 3. Hopefully we should be able to copy this whole thing a little bit more smoothly now that we've got all this down. Tape 2. Pretty sure this is X. This, of course, is quit. There may be a more efficient way to organize all this logic, but mainly I'm just going through the basics because, you know, there's probably a way to make a single input instead of having multiple quits. You know, just have one quit would probably be sufficient. Yeah, let's try that out. I want to be a little bit more clean about this whole thing. So let's get rid of this quit. And we're just going to have one quit that quits out on all of them to save inputs. And we'll change this to tape 2, of course. Get rid of that. This one we're going to make tape 1. And we'll also want to add the X input, although we could make a central node just to kind of, you know, the amount of things that we're controlling for is a bit. Just connect it to this node. Oh, and delete that. We don't want anything going into the power. Connect to number 1. Number 2. And number 3. And this is X, in case you're wondering. Label it X so you remember. And we're also going to have to check these, because these, I think, are not supposed to be... These little fellows are supposed to be off unless you have the right input. So turn them on with the keyframes individually. And don't get them mixed up. That should do nicely. I think we're ready. Let's give it a little test. Alright, we have no logs currently collected. Gotta connect all these to the proper log. Alternatively, you could use a keyframe if this looks a little bit ugly, you know. Tape 1. That should be the only active tape. Alright, we got tape 1. You can also have a thing that resets the counter to the beginning. By simply doing this, turn off the power, Basically, all you gotta do is have a keyframe or action recorder turn on the power of this thing. Or actually, wait a minute, no. Scratch that. We want the power on for the NOT gate by default, and what we're going to do with the action recorder is turn the power off. This means that once you've collected other tapes, you'll have the ability to scroll through them, because currently we can scroll through tapes that aren't there, which you really don't want. I will demonstrate. Logs. See, we can't change. Oop, we can. Let's see why that's not working. Oh, just leave it on. Just leave it on and it'll be automatically turned off once we get the variable. Oop, it's not. Now, why is that not working? That should be perfectly fine. Alternatively, I guess this old method doesn't work anymore. We'll use this node instead. The node will be constantly on, but we'll turn it off with that. So this should work. Looks kind of ugly, but it's the only way. There we go. Can't scroll through any other tapes. Bit curious as to why we can't listen to this tape. We're pressing X and yet it doesn't seem to be responding. This will probably require some thought. Pressing X, but no go. Good question. What's up with that? Set to once. That's very peculiar. The audio log is there. And the power's on. Oh, I think I know what it is. We have the wrong input connected to quit. I accidentally connected X instead of circle. My bad, but we fixed it. Now the input delay is a bit janky. We'll need a timer. Connect it to the power of X. Set it to about... yeah, let's make it a 0.5 delay. That means it won't be active until the timer is finished. And we'll have to go to our quit, and before everything else, we'll need to reset. Move this ahead just a little and move this back. And it's going to reset our timer so that when we tap out, you know, everything is reset. Alright, we've got the delay we wanted with X. I don't really like the idea of the thing being down there, but you might want to put it in a more prominent position, like at the center of the screen or something. You could potentially also have it, you know, right here. The issue with that, I guess, is that if you do that, you're going to have to individually animate this stuff, which could be a little bit annoying. Let's just have a central, you know, position that we expect it to be, like at the top of the screen or something. Because doing all those individual animations could get old really fast. And then all we have to do is alter the using precise move really helps quite a bit. Alright. Now with that in mind, we're going to go in there and replace all of these so that we have a, you know, the central system installed. And we're going to go check it out. We're also going to put all of our variables on. Just so we can test. Alright, listening, 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 circle, close out, listening, listening, listening. And we can tap again. It'll be at the same position. We may not want it at the same position. So, what are we going to do now? We're going to connect. You could have a zone called reverse. Set it about here. Set it to detect tag. And basically all this is going to do is on an individual basis, it is going to be connected to the restart time on every timer. Reverse. We're also going to put it up here so that it's nice and, you know, in that zone we created. Copy it out. Nice and simple. And hopefully that'll reverse the tape to the beginning, because it's kind of awkward to just come into a tape, you know, that you were playing and it's not reset to the beginning. There we go. Now it's resetting to the beginning, which is what we want. Alright. And I'm going to put some you know, for each of these, I'm going to put some audio in there just so you can see how this would play out and how you would set it. This audio is roughly the actual... it's a little bit longer than the span.
Today we will be adding the short chicken to the long chicken, extending the chicken's lifespan beyond the normal chicken rate.
Good. That's right about the length of it. And we're going to put the second one in here. And we're going to show you how to collect them all as well, so... We technically have already covered collectibles, but we're going to do it once more just for the sake of the, you know, uninitiated. And we're going to add our third and final log. Alright. Now let's add the collectible logs. They're going to look like this. And we're just going to have them floating for now, but basically they'll be picked up by using the use button. Here's use over there. And we're going to have a a detection range for how far you can be to pick it up. We'll have it about there. That's a pretty generous box, but you know. Oh, and I guess we can have a counter. And an invisibility check. Turn off collidability, because most collectibles should not be collidable anyway. And we're going to turn off use. And we're going to put a little switch here. If you wanted, you could also delete the collectible by simply putting a destroyer at the end, but we're going to go with the idea that the collectibles are still in the scene, they're just invisible and already triggered. Just in case, you never know. And the first variable we're going to have is tape 1, of course. Operation value 1, set it to when powered on, set it to add, and that should all be lovely and hunky-dory. Put it at the very beginning, perhaps. And what you can also do is, if you want it to stay invisible even after you've collected the tape, just connect it to that, and it will be invisible once the variable is triggered. I suppose, alternatively, we don't even need this, now that I think about it. Because as soon as the variable is triggered, that is also triggered. But let's go ahead and try and collect the tape. Maybe add a sound effect. This'll just have to do. Alright, we have the tape. I think we need a more expressive sound. That one really stinks. I know it's not necessary, but... something very distinctive sounding. Let's reverse. Very loud, perhaps? I'm getting all stuck up on this silly detail, but... it needs to be more noticeable than it was, because I can barely tell the difference between it and my actual controller clicking. And we go into logs, and there's tape 1 all ready for us to listen to.
Today we will be adding the short chicken to the long chicken, extending the chicken's lifespan beyond the normal chicken rate.
And we can do the same thing with tapes 1 and 2, so let's give an example of that. I mean, just to be extra certain, I know that maybe this would seem, you know, pedantic or whatever, but I think we can go ahead and make all the tapes, you know. Just to absolutely prove that the system works in its entirety, because you can never be too sure. Lots of glitches come from unexpected variables, you know. Tape 3. Alright, that should be good.
I submitted a patent for whipped cream, but the Germans wouldn't let me use it because they said whipped cream had already been invented. The Kaiser spit in my face. He said I was dumb, but I am not dumb. I am super genius.
Well, that's tape 2 in all of its glory.
We've got lots of problems in this town. Everybody's losing their minds. But I'm still here, and I'll be right next to the vending machine getting my daily supply of fondant to keep me alive until they come for me at last. But I'll be ready for
Good, they all work. And circle closes out everything, so that should be good. Now it is a little wonky on the second menu. The fact that it's still open is a bit wonky, so let's go and quickly get that fixed. I guess what I would do is I would connect this to that. Or not, and that doesn't seem to be working. Oh, we have no tapes, that's why it's not working. Let me set the variable to 1, just so we have something to test with. Logs, press circle, it should go out. Oh, we're back to logs again. Alright, so that's not gonna work. I guess when logs are open, we would want quit off, the first one anyway. And we may need to institute an extra quit, ironic as that may sound. Call it quit 2. And quit 2 will default us to the first value. And it will reset this to number 1. Actually, maybe we don't have to do that. Well, yeah, we do. Because we want to reset it to the first value. And get... well, we could leave reverse on, I suppose. No, actually, I think I will delete quit 2 because quit 1, all we gotta do is have this reset to its default value. Press circle. No, it's not working. Alternative choice. This resets it to its default value. Alright, that works.
Today we will be adding the short.
Of course, that causes problems with playback. Alright, let's go back. Have an alternative idea. We've got reverse set up in here. We'll have the last one take us to the default.
Today.
That works. Question is, does it work with other tapes?
I submitted a pa- I submitted a I submitted a pa-
That is a tricky situation right there. Alright, we're gonna add a very last one, and we're gonna have this reset to the default of A, and this one is going to trigger that out. Oh, wait a minute, I think this is a lot simpler than I was thinking. We will need a second quit, and we will need a switch connected to that quit. But all we have to do is connect this to the switch, or alternatively, I guess we could connect it to this. Basically, though, it would work this way. Each switch is connected to the NOT gate so that it powers this, you know, off when they're on. This should work if we do it correctly. Oh, we have to collect. Oh, we also need to be able to close out the menu entirely. Currently, we don't have that function. We'll just use the space button to do that. Reset it to A, that ought to work, I think. Oh, there's input delay, so that's not going to work. Well, that seems to work fine. Alright, let's go ahead and pick up these tapes. Now, why is our thing unable to leave? Maybe this will work. Let's try this. Oh, we haven't connected the quit just yet to this thing, which is the important aspect. Also, if we have this connected previously, we want to definitely not have it going in there. Okay, we don't. Alright, finally! We've got it. We've got it done. Alright. So, hopefully you found that helpful, you know, for making your own audio log system. Checking glitches and stuff. I think there's probably a less messy way to do this, you know, kind of like cull down some of the redundancies or whatever, but I'm making this fast on the fly. It could be more efficient with refinement. It's mainly just the inputs that are important. But that's all for now. Here are the names of all of our lovely cult supporters. Many thanks to all of you. If you'd like to get your name in those credits, check the link in the description and head over to our coffee. You can become a cultist neophyte to become credited at the end of our video, or you can become an acolyte to gain early access to videos in addition to credit. Now, if you aren't in the mood for membership, you can always leave a one-time tip. If you enjoyed this video and are not already subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And maybe give us a quick like, both options are free. Also, don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will always be notified when new videos come out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. Or if you just want to let out your pent-up rage, give us some smack talk. Until next time, goodbye.